All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 261. So for today's update, there are no updates. Yesterday I got a letter from the tenant board saying that they acknowledged that they were served by the landlord's representation about the anticipated appeal. I still have not heard any communication from the divisional court to hear what the status of the appeal application is. The next topic is the Shopify Store. So there's some new blog types, sponsored blog types available in the store. And today I worked on the next long form video. And other than that, we will continue tonight with where we left off. So the recent focus has been on an input area so that I can capture input for connection information for multiplayer worlds. Steve Kirst 5229 says, have a great progress. Thank you very much. I will. So yesterday, I did some work on fixing the cursor support so I can actually have a cursor in different input areas within a frame. I guess ideally I need a better way to actually cycle through them. But let's just take it one step at a time. Catface1337 says, will Emperor Robert mass import penguins to the Canadian wilderness when he takes over? It's a good question. I think, if I remember correctly, there's no... penguins are only at the South Pole. But I think it's probably... It's actually a good thought experiment. Is it possible, if you brought penguins to the North Pole, could they survive there as an invasive species? I think I recall reading that they could technically live in the North Pole, but there's just none there. So, but I guess theoretically, it's a matter of time before somebody takes some penguins from the South Pole and brings them to the North Pole, and then they'll take over. It's not working. I guess penguins would be particularly appropriate for importing to Axel Heiberg because of the support of the Linux, everything related to Linux. All right, my tab cycling doesn't work. Do you stop doing those streams, or you end after a certain amount of donation? Yeah, I did. I doubled them until it became like I either stopped reaching my goal or it got kind of excessive. I did. I guess if you look at it, would be on my channel. If you pick a few pages back now, but what I get up to, I think I got up to over 1,000 on the super chats, and then I think I got up to 32 on the channel members or something. But some of them were gifted memberships, so it wasn't the gifted ones expire after a month or so. I think it took like 14 hours to reach the goal for the last one that I did. And YouTube doesn't keep the VOD if it lasts more than 12 hours. So I decided it was kind of I was kind of hitting the limits anyway at that point. And that was when there was lots of interest in new and excitement on the channel, but that's kind of died off since then. This series has just been I guess it started off as an experiment just to see how much revenue I can derive from live streaming, if I can make it actually, if I could do productive work while simultaneously like advertising and also getting a little bit of revenue. I don't know. It's a mixed. The results are kind of mixed. I would say I have learned things about the ecosystem of social media from live streaming. The internet is it's a much more, I don't know, there's so much weird stuff on the internet now, like with so many bots. And I mean, the internet is like actually kind of a scary place, but it's also like exciting at the same time. There's bots that come into chat, or like crazy people sometimes. You never know what people are going to type in chat. I also found something that was not expected, is I actually learned things. People will see something that I'm doing and they're like, hey, why not do this? And I'll think, oh, I never knew I could do that. Right, that's almost there. Channel's kind of crazy. Never realized you had a video with 18 million views. If the chat is busy, do you prioritize engaging with every message, or do you try to focus on working? I try to actually. So let's see. When I started the series, so I started testing out live streaming. I did it once every Saturday night, I think. It was maybe about a year ago, or a bit over a year ago. And so that was in the summer. And then I think back then I was only getting like 10 views or something. I'm basically back to that now. I now get between like 10 and 20 views. So most of the time I can actually pay attention to whatever people chat. And I think the whole purpose of a live stream is like the exchange with the audience. That seems to be what people mainly want. Before I started testing it out, I thought like, I could just, it would be like a video feed of like, surveillance camera footage of, someone coding or something. But there are some of those. That's not really interesting. It's kind of, it's not at all interesting to watch people code, but lots of people like to stop by and chat and exchange some views on things. And then sometimes the chat that I have with people will chat with each other in the chat a little bit. But yeah, I think that's the main thing people want. Is people want to be able to affect. People want to cause something to happen on the live stream, which is why ideally I should work on the UI and improve that and stuff. But that's on the to-do list. It's not the top. I have to finish the next video. That's what I've been putting most of my days into. And then people have been asking me forever about AI coding. And I have yet to seriously sit down and look into the integrations for that, which I'll probably do off stream. Will you succeed in dominating the world this year? I hope so. I've been at the fundraising for 261 days, but I don't know. I think maybe just a few more days, and we can finish the fundraising. And then once the money's, the financing is there, the rest should be pretty fast. Okay, so that's cycling through the first couple. How far along the development of your game are you? It's difficult to answer that because I have a number of ideas that I want to implement over time, and I've only been working on it. But what you've seen on stream, every second of development of this is recorded for the last at least since the last release I did. So it's slow going, doing 1 hour at a time. But I find it is actually it is kind of good for powering through like boring development, like this making this text area is a kind of boring thing to work on. So the current arc of development is I want to get progress on like the minimum some minimum amount of progress on multiplayer, and one of the things that's necessary for it is I want to be able to interconnection information. So I have like a connect to server dialog, and so that's kind of because it's a pure terminal game and it completely takes over the terminal. There's no I can't really use like built-in input functions and stuff, and I also want to be able to control the entire UI and behavior of the actual input form, and I want to use this for other things later. The current arc of development is just on getting a couple inputs available. I'm grouping them together into an input form, and right now I'm working on making it so I can use tab to go between them, which looks like it's doing it, but it's not updating the cursor yet. What are you looking most forward to this year? That's a good question. At the moment, I'm kind of just in grinded away in survival mode. Hopefully, some growth in something. Maybe we'll have at least one video that pops off. I think the next video, I really need to focus more on content that takes less time to get out. So I'll probably try to get actually I have a list of like a few just simple shorts ideas that I'll probably get out soon. I'd be asking people this as an icebreaker. Yeah, that sounds like a good icebreaker. All right, let's make it change the focus correctly. you have any type of videos you wouldn't make, why not just react to current events like many other channels? I think your delivery is unique enough. The content can be secondary. Yeah, I may. It's possible that I may have to do that. The thing is, I think in business and life, you have to have some kind of north star. You have to have some purpose of like the thing you're trying to accomplish. And I had some initial goals and vision for my business, my consulting business originally, which, it seems like there's not a position for that in the market. And of course I made some YouTube videos. All the videos I've made have been kind of in-depth. I think they have like relatively, I think how to make a CPU video that actually that there's some useful effect on the world by having 18 million people watch that video, because now people know how CPUs are made. So I try to put that into a lot of my videos. But having said that, the amount of time it takes to make a video versus the amount of money it makes, the benefit is not 100%. The return on investment that I hoped for is not there. So I may have to, if if our economy shifts to a purely content reaction based economy where everyone just reacts to content on the internet all day. But then again, none of that doesn't build houses. It doesn't like create infrastructure, or it doesn't make things faster. I mean, I guess to some extent, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll have to experiment a bit. There's a bunch of ideas in the next video I'm gonna try to get through. So after that, I think probably the next video, I'll probably people keep asking me about AI coding, like almost every stream. So I think the next focus I'll do will probably be on that. Should make and sell RAM. That's a good idea. I have that formula. I just need to get some fab equipment and stuff, and I'll be all set. Okay, so the issue, I need to set the focus. Quest claimer officially W. Yo, what's good, fam? Not too much, just working on the old terminal block mining game. Okay, let's try that. Nope, but not quite. It almost worked. It's windy out. Straight shooter. Do you ever think about not having a partner? Yeah. I mean the traditional strategy in life is you get established enough to have money to pay your rent and to buy food, and then from there you can go out and establish relationships, meet people and stuff. I was thinking about that today. Like the last 10 years have gone by like in the blink of an eye. Ever since COVID, everything started going, time started going by like crazy. It was 2018. I got into, I was focused on work. I had a contract that seemed like was doing well. Excellent, that works. And then make some decent money. So I put a bunch of time into that. I thought like, oh, this will be great. I might actually have enough money coming in that I could hire like an intern and then train the intern. But the company had existed for like 9 years. But I happened to be unlucky enough to join just when they imploded. But they also they lied to all the employees and told people that they were financially in a good condition and stuff. So anyway, long story short, that wasted a bunch of time. They had assets, so I sued them. I just filed like a judgment. I figured everyone else is going to file judgments. I might as well get in. And then I think it was screwed around with that for a while. That brings us to from 2018 to the start of 2019, and I think I remember it was January when I kind of came to terms with the fact that the money that I hoped to extract from them. I finally got them to actually produce some documents in court, which made it clear that they were totally done for and they had no assets, and any assets they had were secured. That was January of 2019. So then I was like, I can now, at least if I got closure on it, I can kind of move on, focus on the next project. And then it was 2 months later, we had COVID-19. That brings us to 2023. I guess, well, we couldn't even go anywhere. It was like illegal to go out and do anywhere. I think Canada had some of the strictest lockdowns in the world. I think I think some of them were even like, well, I don't want to say stricter than China, because there was some crazy stuff that went on there. But anyway, 2023, things kind of like normalized a bit in 2023. And then the building got taken over by a new landlord. And then we got all the renoviction crap to deal with, which is still going on, by the way. I got a letter yesterday that we won the case, but they're filing an appeal. And yeah, amongst all that, there's not. I actually kind of thought maybe getting it, if you want to meet people, you gotta like go where people are. So I thought it would be interesting to actually try and like a way to meet people is to volunteer for something, join an organization. So I thought that might actually be interesting to join in on some of these, the organizing activist activities of like trying to fight the renovations. And that was very kind of revealing. There's a lot of these, and this is another thing that's kind of just new in the last few years. A ton of these like activist organizations, they all claim they're grassroots, but I think they're funded. There's like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars funding all these organizations. So they're not really they're very top down organizations that have like political objectives and stuff. And yeah, I guess if you want the long version of that, watch my most recent video on the process of fighting, my 2-hour 17-minute summary of the last couple of years. All right, so that works. All right, we've got about 10 minutes or so in the 1 hour. Oh yeah, maybe labels. I was thinking about maybe making this a bit more fancy and self-contained, but I think I'll just implement this in the fastest, easiest way possible to focus on the multiplayer. All right, that's good enough for labels. I guess the other thing I could do is when you reach the top, when you reach the top or bottom of a input area, you could maybe cycle to the next. All right, that's reasonable. That'll do for an input for a connection form. Oh, I didn't. What do you do when you don't have motivation for coding? Well, I guess for the streams are just kind of like force yourself to get on and do a bit of work for a bit. Honestly, I haven't, in the last couple of years, most of my time has been on video production rather than coding. Back when I used to code a lot more for money, I guess it was just about, I don't know, I mean, it's a bit of work. I chose this career path because it's interesting, so I don't, there's not really that many times when I don't have motivation for coding. Maybe sometimes if I spend too much time coding, like if I'm just sitting for too long, and like exercise or just getting out for a walk is kind of what I need. But usually it's not too difficult to get the motivation. I guess the next thing I could do is make it work with up and down arrows. So I guess that would just be putting something in here. Well, actually, no, it'll be here. And once I have that, that'll let me do up and down between the frames. And I'll probably just simplify things. I'll make the first thing I want to add for the multiplayer, I'll just add something to help menu. The simplest way to implement this fast will just be add that as a new frame. So I'll just have one giant frame that like has one text area on it. And it'll be a frame that lists the current let's see, I'm gonna have I'll keep track of a list of world connections. There's going to be two types of world connections, a local one and then a WebSocket one. I guess the other thing I need is add support for a button. So when I can tab down onto a button. All right, well, I'll leave it there for tonight. And then we'll pick things up again tomorrow night for day 2. What do we got now? 260, 61, 262. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.